it's been 3 years since we've seen each other face to face. Pandemic has made things flow by. So what's new?
Just working a lot, Ben, just getting a lot of stuff done. Working on some music with some friends actually who are coming over now. We have a gig coming up Thursday. So that and just a lot of work, man. But I'm proud of the work you're doing. It's been pretty awesome seeing what you're doing. I love it.
You?
So it looks like you're doing some great things, keeping very busy.
Yes, been keeping very busy. I've been working on a. It's funny because I've been working on a horror film for 2 years, and I'm not a horror movie person, and I can't watch horror movies for a reason. But it is a very popular genre, so that was partly why I wrote it. And we hope to start production sometime next fall.
Love to
And
hear about that. I would love because I'm a horror guy, man. That's kind of that's where I am. So I love that stuff.
have you seen Halloween Ends yet?
I haven't. I haven't. I saw the second one, but I haven't seen the third one.
I couldn't do a theater check, so somebody else had to do a theater check for me, of course. But uh,
Well, if you ever want to for research, if you ever want to see a horror movie for research, I will go. I'll hold your hand. I'll pull you through it, man. I promise.
thanks very much. It's funny because when I did write it, because like I'm not a horror movie person, so I had to put myself in that brainwave. Movie is titled Orlando Monster, and it's about a family that take a trip to Orlando, Florida, and then they're being hunted by a monster creature that's like a reptile like creature.
Well, Orlando
And
can be a very frightening place without reptilian creatures. Just let me tell you that right
exactly,
now.
exactly. And so, in order to get the idea, I actually read through Jordan Peele's. I will never watch the movie, but I read through Jordan Peele's Us. I read
Yes.
the screenplay
Yes.
to Us. I read Jordan Peele's Us to get an idea because he's made horror movies lately. He had one that came out this summer called Nope.
Nope was
Um,
fantastic. Kiki Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, fantastic,
all of
fantastic.
them
Lots of
were
fun.
successful. But yeah, it does look interesting. My dad wants to see that because I've heard it's very suspenseful.
It's not like traditional horror. It won't scare you out of your seat. There's some creepy moments, but it's pretty clever. It's a clever movie all the way around.
He has a new movie on Netflix called Windland and Wild, and it's stop motion animation. And it's him and Keegan Michael Key, and they kind of reprise the Key and Peele
Okay.
characters, but they're playing demons from hell, and they're being sent to Earth to solve a mission. And it's done by the same guy that worked on The Nightmare Before Christmas, not Tim Burton, but Henry Selick.
Okay, you're right. Selick, yeah. I'll have to check that out. That sounds kind of fun. I think Jordan Peele is now like the new voice of horror and he includes a lot of cultural references. He's very, in tune culturally. So I love how he's using that mix of, culturally relevant material along with being this fresh voice of horror. It's making for a great combination and very
Exactly.
entertaining content. Yeah.
Very true. You actually just got back from a play rehearsal. Can you tell me a little bit what the play is that you're working on?
I am just came back from a musical rehearsal. We are putting together this year's 2022 Christmas at the Palace. So
Nice.
this is the 40th anniversary of Christmas at the Palace, directed by Claire Cook, who has done all of them.
Can you tell our audience what Christmas at the Palace is?
Christmas at the Palace is a yearly, well, it used to be a bi-yearly. Now it is a yearly, basically Christmas themed variety show using all members of this community, choirs, dancers. There are ages from 3 years old to 90 on that stage, about 300 people. But it is just a yearly tradition of music and comedy and just overall good times. It's been going on forever. It's people's Christmas tradition here in this town.
When I haven't been to it in a while, but I remember when I used to see it back then before the pandemic. It would almost put me in the mind of Saturday Night Live a little bit, where you have like the same cast members and then a few different newbies, and they would put on like different skits.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone just kind of showcases their talent. I don't know how Claire and Christy organized, doing, this kind of massive upheaval. But for all its chaos, it's like the most organized chaos I've ever seen in a backstage show. This is probably my, ugh, we started doing them every year about 10 years ago. And I've been involved in every one since then, and had a few before that. So I'm about at 14 or 15, I think, this year.
You know, it's funny. I was 10 years old when we met, and we became friends when I was 14. And I remember because I was doing a play at the time at the Palace Theater. It was a Knights play. I can't remember the name of it.
I totally remember that you were doing student summer camp. You were doing
Yeah.
Johnny Stanner's summer camp. I was house managing. I totally remember that, man. I really do. I do. I sure do. You're 23 now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're all getting so old so fast. Wow. But yes, I do. I do remember that. I was house managing. You were a young pirate. Yes, sir. I do remember that.
Nowadays I do voiceover.
That's fantastic. That's great work. I mean, and the thing is, I'm kind of been leaking into that a little bit myself, kind of like dipping my toes into that water and the commercial world. And there's so much work available. There's so much work available for voiceover right now.
Have you done any commercial work lately?
I'm putting together a reel right now. Actually, I've gotten some bites, and we're just doing some commercial stuff. But I'm putting together an audition reel, and we're going to shop it around. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get a little second career out of it. Maybe.
Definitely a second career. Or if you ever need a part for Orlando Monster, just let me know.
Dude, I'm in. I'm in. Bring it. I'm in.
The last interview we actually had Ansel Elgort sister on a podcast interview, and if you don't know who Ansel Elgort is, he was Tony. And
yeah, he was the new Tony. He was great. Baby Driver, wasn't he the lead in Baby Driver?
He was the lead in Baby Driver, yes.
Yeah.
And it has been said that Edgar Wright's going to make a number 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved Edgar Wright's last movie, so I'm all about that. You say Edgar Wright, I'm in. I'm in sight unseen, man. Bring it.
When he does the movies with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, those two are hilarious.
Right. I mean, absolutely. The first one, when I saw Shaun of the Dead, I was like, this is something this is something fresh, different, funny,
exactly.
clever. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, not a zombie movie person, but I like that movie because of the British humor.
Right. Very Brit humor, very pop culturally relevant, and then some good gore. Come on. He doesn't shy away. There's some good gore in that one.
I remember the first time I watched it, because see, like when it comes to movies that have gore, so whenever I've watched this 5 times this year during Halloween, which doesn't happen very often, but I watched it 5 times because I was just in the mood for British humor. But there's a scene in the movie where the one guy, the real jerk, gets torn in half.
Yes. Yes.
Thank God I know when that scene's coming, so I gotta look away, because I remember the first time I watched it, I actually vomited and passed out, so I can't watch it.
Okay, you are very sensitive. I gotcha. All right.
I can't watch movies that have gore and blood, but of course Shaun of the Dead I could live with because the 2 British guys are hilarious.
But there's some good gore in there, so I can understand why you would not want to, being as sensitive as you are probably was not your best bet.
So how many years have you been doing acting at the Palace Theater?
Wow. I think I got a role when I think I was in early high school, middle school. They did West Side Story. We were just talking about West Side Story, and I think I was a nameless jet about at 14 or something, and no lines, no nothing. And then that was about it. I think that was like, mid 80s, and then and then high school, I just started getting involved. So I think, boy, actually performances, shows I've done, we're in the 20s. I think we're in the 20s, maybe 20s or 30s or something like that.
Nice. I was in my teens when I started doing acting. I mean, I don't act anymore, but my first play I did, I was just this minor character in The Wizard of Oz at the grade school that I used to go to.
Okay.
It was a minor character for both Wizard of Oz and Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then eighth grade year, Cinderella came along, and I was a supporting character in that one. I wasn't one of this. I was this character. It was actually made up. Surprisingly, it was made up for the play at the last minute.
Okay, okay.
Because at the time, I remember when I auditioned just for any character, I was I can't think of the word. Sort of putting myself in the same Chris Pratt played when he played Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, like that.
Okay, okay.
A part was written, a character was written. It was Constable Carl was the name of the character, and he was written at the last minute. But yeah, they just squeezed that character in, and that was a character I played with that same kind of Star-Lord humor.
That's kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing about, like, accepting roles like that, when you can make them your own. I've had so many opportunities to just to plunge myself into different characters down there and just had the best time doing it. Like, and it's interesting how you can, being someone else for 6 weeks and really mining their depth of their character, almost makes you learn more about yourself. It's very, very interesting. And sometimes I'm more comfortable in their skin than I am in my own at times.
Well, John, great to see you again.
And thank you so much, man, for this opportunity. I mean, I know Claire was happy when I told her I was doing a podcast to plug the show a little bit. She was very happy about that. So
glad we could finally be face to face after 3 years.
way too long, and it will not be 3 years again.
And to our audience, please go see Christmas at the Palace
December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, man.
and get your tickets. They are available online.